Okay, let me try that again. I was saying hello and I was muted. Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in tonight. I am so super excited about tonight's broadcast. The past couple of broadcasts that I have done have been me alone talking about Rise Up First Christian Academy. And tonight I have the awesome privilege of having my teammates here on the call with me. So, what I'm going to ask is please go to your social media pages, share this on your pages, take a few seconds, invite some friends. We are live on Facebook and on YouTube this evening. We will be giving you a brief overview of our program, what it's going to look like, and when it's going to begin. And so let me start by thanking Brother Dylan and Sister Mia for being on the chat with me tonight. We do have another guest that will be making an appearance a little bit later. So before we get started, I just want to start by reminding you who we are and what we do. Rise Up First Christian Academy is a virtual inclusive homeschooling co-op where we not only provide services for homeschoolers, but we also provide enrichment support for children enrolled in the school setting. Our vision for this organization, or our mission for this organization, is to prepare today's generation for the tomorrow to come. Understanding that our goal is to help our children develop a kingdom mindset. And so, as you heard me say several weeks ago now, we're doing that by taking a three-part framework in which we're going to support the children. The three parts that we're looking at is spiritual development, mental health development, and then academic development. And so the goal for tonight's session is to do kind of a virtual open house to give you an opportunity to meet the people that are going to bring this vision to fruition. And so, Brother Dylan, I would love to start with you and let me share my screen. Okay. All right, Brother Dylan, just let me know when you need me to click to the next slide. Other than that, I'm going to go on mute.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. I am Mr. J. You click the next slide, and I'm glad to be on with you guys to be speaking with you about the program, about the spiritual health portion of Rise Up First Christian Academy. And the name of my program is Welcome to Bible Time with Mr. J. This is, where we learn about Jesus through fun and interactive Bible study. So before we get started, I just want to tell you guys a little bit about me. Click the next one real quick. All right, so I graduated in 2018 from Grambling State University with a kinesiology degree. I majored in kinesiology. With that degree, I became a physical education teacher, and I've been teaching PE for about going on 3 years. Um, and that's me holding my daughter, and that's my brother with his child behind him. Next one. This was me and my wife and our family at our wedding. This was about uh, a year ago in August. And something about me is that I love my family. Um, I invited, had a real small, intimate wedding, had our kids there, my little sister is there all the way at the end. And it's a great time. It was a very great time. Next slide. And this is my son. You couldn't see him in the previous picture because he was still inside of my wife at the time. So this is my son and at his first birthday party. And it's him with my daughter Mila. My son's name is Solomon and my daughter's name is Mila. And I got one more picture I want to show. Go ahead to yeah, that one right there. All right, this is me with some of my brothers at my church. This was actually after a lesson I had the opportunity to read for one of my brothers while he was while he was preaching a lesson. And something about me is that I love doing the work for the Lord. All of my skills and expertise and everything, I feel as though it has led me to this opportunity where I can be able to stand in front of you and your children and teach them the word of God. So everything, every aspect, every part of these pictures that I'm showing you guys has kind of led me up to this very moment. You can go ahead, go to the next slide. All right, so where does Bible time with Mr. J? Bible time with Mr. J is Rise Up's Bible study class for children. And this program was created to solve the very, very big problem that our children really don't know who God is. They're not really learning it in school. And so I aim, or Bible Time with Mr. J, with this program, I aim to teach our scholars who God is as well as his purpose for creating us. And I think it's very important that kids learn who God is and as well as being parents, we're able to teach our children about the Lord and help them to navigate through this world with the things that the Lord has given us to show them. And I'm gonna deviate just real quick, because I want to read something. I want to read some scriptures real quick, not a lot, but just a little bit. I'm gonna go to Psalms 127. I'm gonna start at verse 3. Psalms 127 and verse 3. It says, "Lo, children are an heritage of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. As arrows are in the hand of a mighty man, so are children of the youth. Happy is the man that hath his quiver full of them. They shall not be ashamed, but they shall speak with the enemies in the gate." And I read this because, how many of our children know that they're a blessing from God? This is written in our Bibles. That the fact that if you had the opportunity to have children, the Lord blessed you with your children. So that's something that I want to impart on the kids, that them being created is not a mistake. They're a blessing. They're supposed to be a blessing to their parents. you know and I want to go to another spot, Proverbs 22 and verse 6, to show, it's basically scriptures like these that show us that the Lord does think about our children, does care about our children. And, we have these children, and they're a blessing to us. So, what is it that we're supposed to do once we have them? So, Proverbs 22 and verse 6, it says, "Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it." So, we have these beautiful blessings that the Lord allowed us to have, and we're supposed to train our children. We're supposed to teach them in the right way that they're supposed to go. We're supposed to teach them how to navigate this life. And the way that we do that, and this is my last spot, I'm gonna go to Deuteronomy chapter 11. The way that we do that is right here. Deuteronomy chapter 11, verse 1. "Therefore, thou shalt love the Lord thy God and keep his charge and his statutes and his judgments and his commandments always." And I'm gonna skip to verse 19. "And ye shall teach them your children, speaking of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. And thou shalt write them upon the doorposts of thine house and upon thy gates, that your days may be multiplied, and the days of your children, in the land which the Lord sware unto your fathers to give them, as the days of heaven upon the earth." So we have these children, right? They are a blessing to us. We're supposed to train them. And the way that we're supposed to train them is that we're supposed to teach them the commandments. We're supposed to teach them how to obey God, what God likes, what He doesn't like. We're supposed to teach them tools that's going to help them navigate this life. Teach them right from wrong. And Bible time with Mr. J is simply the way that I plan to teach kids about God, what He wants for us, why He created us, and simply how He expects us to live. You can go ahead and go to the next slide. And our schedule. So for March, we're going to be on a 4-week schedule. We're going to have live Bible study class every Sunday. We're going to have two groups, 4 to 7 year olds, and then 8 to 11 year olds. I don't have a specific time right now, but you guys will get that at a later date. We're going to have midweek student paced lessons posted every Tuesday. So these lessons, the midweek lessons won't be live. There'll be pre-made PowerPoint videos, well, PowerPoint slides, interactive PowerPoint slides where it'll be a little bit of some Bible reading that you I want you guys to do with your kids, as well as some assignments, some very fun and interactive assignments. And then at the end of each week, on Friday, we're going to have a live enrichment activity. And this could be Cahoots. You know, if you guys are familiar with Cahoots, if any type of fun activity that's going to help further the understanding of whatever we're learning for that week. And any assignments that we have that will be due on Friday. Go ahead and go to the next slide. Now, my office hours. You guys can speak with me on Zoom on Wednesdays. So from 9 to 9:30, I will have that time slot open for my 4 to 7 year olds. And from 9:45 to 10:15 a.m., I will have that time slot open for my 8 to 11 year olds. And I have my contact information listed below. You could text me or email me if you can't schedule a Zoom call within those times. Next slide. And just a quick overview of the class rules since we are going to be virtual. Rule number one is be respectful to everyone. Rule number two, keep your cameras on, microphones muted. This is just, common virtual courtesy. And then that we are going to be reading our Bibles and learning how to pray and things like that. I will be asking that boys, if you have any head coverings or hat, you remove those, and girls, cover your heads because as you can see, 1 Corinthians 11, verse 4 through 5. That's actually a commandment from the Lord where men have to remove their head coverings and women have to cover their heads whenever they are praying or prophesying. Rule number four. So at the end of every lesson, we're going to end it with the Lord's Prayer. And that's a great prayer to start teaching your kids how to pray. And the Lord teaches us about, why we supposed to face Jerusalem. In First Kings chapter 8, verses 22, verse 28 to 52. You guys can look at this on your own time. I won't keep you here that long to read all that, but we're going to be facing Jerusalem when we pray. And rule number five, participation is a must. Now, this is really important. In order for this to be like the best possible learning experience for the kids and the parents, it's important that parents participate with the child because in my lesson, I'm going to have um, parts of the lesson where you're going to have to, talk to your kids about a certain Bible scripture. So it's like not only am I teaching the kids, but also I'm teaching parents how to teach their kids the Word of God. And so that's what Bible time with Mr. J is all about. And my last rule is have fun. This is going to be a fun experience. This is my first time doing something like this, and I'm really, really excited about it. And I want everybody else to be just as excited about it. So at the end of the day, I want everybody to have fun. Next slide. And this is just some class norms. So whenever you get on, we have a motto for my program. Is I can do all things through Christ who strengthening me. So I'm a big believer in positivity, saying affirmations, things that help us, motivate us. And this is going to be our motivation for the class that we're going to start every day. We're going to start well, every time we get on, we're going to say this motto. Next slide. The Ten Commandments. I won't read through all of them right now, but we're going to read them, at the beginning of each class, just so children can know that as a Christian, this is our foundation. This is how we uh these are our rules, our laws, things that we live by. And as I just read in Deuteronomy, this is what you're supposed to teach your kids, the commandments. The Ten Commandments, plain and simple, and this is just how we live our life. Go ahead to the next slide. And it's like I just said, Ten Commandments. And as I said earlier, the Lord's Prayer is how we're going to end each session. This is just, and this is something, the commandments and the Lord's Prayer, these are things that you can do with your child at home. You can wake up in the morning and uh read the commandments to your child to help, set their day for school. And before they go to bed, you can have them recite the Lord's Prayer. I do that with my child, so that way, um, if you ever want to know how the Lord expects us to pray, or whatever like the foundation for praying is written in the Lord's Prayer. Everything that you could possibly say, this is the perfect prayer, the perfect place to start with how to pray. Um, and go ahead to the next slide. And that's pretty much it. If you have any questions or concerns about anything that I kind of went over today, I know I've kind of been kind of going pretty fast, but any questions, concerns, you could text me or shoot me an email.
Thank you, Brother Dylan. Thank you, thank
You're
you, thank
welcome.
you. And I'm actually getting ready to bring my sister up. Hello, Sister Kanika. One of the things that I said to you all in the first two times that I did the live is that one of the things that we wanted to provide you here at Rise Up First Christian Academy is access to real industry professionals. And our beautiful sister, Sister Kanika, is a licensed clinical social worker who is phenomenal, working in the vineyard regularly. So thank you, thank you for joining us on this call this evening, Sister Kanika. So if you could just take a few minutes and talk about the mental health component of what your services are going to look like for parents that are wondering.
Okay, can you hear me? Okay, so I will be handling the mental health program for everybody. So, greetings and good evening to everybody. So, the 4 weeks that we're going to be focusing on for this particular module, we're going to be focusing on self esteem and self confidence. So, the reasoning behind picking those two things is because I think it sets a really strong foundation for the children. And as far as if there are maybe some things that they don't know how to handle with their body image or different things like that, we're going to just kind of flood them with confidence and just self-esteem boosters. So building their self-awareness is also really important and something that I really would like to do. And I'm going to just get into week by week kind of what I have planned, and then we'll kind of just go from there. So let me get to the top of it. Okay, so week one, we're going to be doing it's all about self-esteem. So the whole program is self-esteem, but we're really going to focus in on it. So the premise of the first week is for introductions, and for the scholars to identify their uniqueness and love for themselves. We will have a turn and talk moment with the parents where they kind of put their input with their children for about maybe 3 to 5 things that makes their child unique. And I believe what that does is kind of solidifies with the kids, with the children, that, oh, mom thinks this of me, and so on and so forth. And I also think this. So we'll take a few minutes just to do that. There is a lot of interactive stories that we'll read about people that are different. We'll watch videos about other children and their self-esteem and how they kind of deal with it. There's also a coloring page and another interactive activity. So for the midweek, we are going to do a mask project, and it's just simple art things that you might have around your house, and the worksheet for that will be provided. And basically what the children do is that they kind of put on the front, I'm sorry for the noise, they put on the front what they feel about themselves and who they think their selves, how they think of themselves. And then on the back, who they want to be and who they think of themselves to be. Um, the second week, we're going to focus on strengths. And the premise of the second week is to begin to identify their strengths. And we'll use strength finding games and worksheets during this session, watch another short video, and discuss it with a PowerPoint, and talk about the turn and talk point with that with the parents would just kind of be the same thing, like what are your children good at? What do they do well? What are their strengths? For that one, we have another activity where it'll be things around the house that you'll be able to kind of pick up and put together for the kids. And I really like that particular activity, and I think the kids will like it too. So week three, the premise of week three is for the scholars to learn about gratitude, because gratitude obviously is part of their self-confidence when you give and not expect to receive, different things of that nature. But we really want to hone in on defining what they're grateful for and how to share with others and how to share that with others. So we'll watch a short video on gratefulness and acts of kindness. There's another interactive little story that we'll read together and discuss it. And the turn and talk will include parents to discuss what it means to be grateful and maybe come up to about three things minimum of what they're grateful for with their children. And then for the fourth week, which is the last week, we're going to kind of put it all together. So the idea is to solidify everything that we've learned over the last three weeks. We'll review what they learned and, of course, how it makes us feel, because that's all about mental health, is how you feel about all of this. And hopefully expecting them to feel great about themselves and feel confident and self-aware and all of those great self-esteem boosters. And then during that activity, we'll kind of ask them either to kind of write a story about themselves or draw for the younger ones that may not be able to write legibly. And well, it's kind of in depth and we're still kind of working on it, if I'm being honest, but that's the idea. And then we kind of want to put it kind of in a tree from the things on the bottom to how they grow up and turn into parts of the leaves. So I know that sounds really abstract, but trust me, it's going to be a really fun activity and it'll be things around the house. So that's that part of the program. So for me and Brother Dylan will kind of offset our classes. So when he has the 8 and 11-year-olds, I'll have the 4 to 7-year-olds and vice versa. I believe that's how we're doing it. And then my office hours will be on Friday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. So if there's any questions or if you need just a little extra support or anything like that, just feel free to email me or text me. Either way, that's all I have.
Okay, so I'm so excited, you all. I am just having these amazing individuals on this call tonight, telling you all about the things that we've been talking about behind the scenes. Just really, really gets me super excited, so that you can see firsthand that we have some amazing activities and educational opportunities prepared for this pilot session. But one thing I will always say is I try to be transparent to a fault. Therefore, this next young lady that I'm bringing on to the call is here because if you know anything about me, you know that my heart lies and my experiences lie with the babies, the pre-K all the way up till about 10 or 11 years old. And this next lady that's getting ready to join the conversation, Sister Mia, I'm sure a lot of you already know who she is going to be holistically um, creating and taking on the program of working with our 12-year-old and up population. So, Sister Mia, can you please unmute yourself and tell us about what you're going to be doing?
Okay, hello everybody. I'm Dr. Mia, Sister Mia, Mrs. H, whatever you want to call me. Um, a little background on me. I've known Jesus for 26 years. I've only been taking him seriously for about 6. I think that's an honest response that we can all relate to. But in my journey towards becoming more like God, I actually became a college geek nerd, I guess. So I have my bachelor's in accounting. I have my master's in secondary education, and I'm currently getting my doctorate in education with the emphasis in organizational development. And the funny thing is, as I'm doing my physical doctorate, this will be my spiritual doctorate. So this is my spiritual dissertation where I have developed a framework for spiritual development that attacks the 3 parts of the body, which are the carnal, which is the physical, the spiritual, and the mental. So that framework, I like to call it Body Workers. I created it into an acronym, and we, for the first 4 weeks of the pilot, we'll be doing the phase 1 of that, which is the first 4 letters, which is the first 4 phases, and that's the body, right? Because all of us have a body, and we need to know our body. But the components, or the, should I say, the phases or stages that the body goes through is believe first. You have to believe in order to overcome. You have to believe and overcome in order to dominate your flesh. You have to believe and overcome and dominate your flesh in order to identify the purpose and ignite the purpose. So what we'll be going, and that's literally how those 4 weeks will go. So that first week, we will be focused on believing. What does the Spirit of God look like inside of you? What does God look like in your life? So it kind of aligns with what Sister Kanika and Brother Mr. J are doing in their classes. It'll just be at a more rigorous and more a higher level of thinking. So a lot of that will require them to do some self-examination, to do some family examination, and to also do some real life looking at scriptures and applying them to their real lives, bringing those scriptures to life in their life. Like, do you see a lion tongue, like it's specified in Proverbs 6? Do you see people shedding innocent blood? Do you see people sowing discord amongst the brethren? So that's overcoming the flesh. So y'all see how I just shifted right into that. Y'all gotta slow me down sometimes. But that'll be week 2. But in week 1, it's just them. Who are you? Who's your body, like your family body? Who's your superiors? That's your parents, that's your teachers, that's us as administrators. And we're really all doing this all together. And then week 2 will be overcome the world. So we'll break down those Proverbs 6 things, make them look real so that they can actually attack them, even though it's intangible actions, they show up on real people, and helping them figure out ways to interact with it, be wise as serpents, but harmless as doves, and really bringing that to life. And then dominate the flesh will be week 3. Dominating the flesh is going to teach them how to fast from not only food. Sometimes they need to fast from things like human interaction, playing video games, sacrificing things for the Lord for strength, patience, things like that. Teaching them how to sacrifice things of their flesh and really strengthen that obedience. And then identifying the purpose. That really helps them to separate obedience and limitations. Obedience and limitations are two totally different things. Obeying is I have standards, I have boundaries, I have guidelines that I have to follow. However, my creativity, my individuality, my uniqueness, that was created within me for a purpose. And we're going to help them develop that purpose, turn it into passion, and then later into a career. And that's when they will step into the workers phase of it. When they walking in their purpose, they're observing the absence of purpose, they're restoring purpose, they're kindling purpose, they're exhorting purpose, they're reflecting on it, and then they're sharing it for their testimony. And then once they finish that whole thing, they'll be like 18 or older, and they'll be ready to go on it out into the world and be great. And so that's pretty much the whole framework in itself. But I have it all written up. I'm so excited to do it with these kids. The Lord built it within me and baby. When I tell you this, okay, it was not easy. But they'll have me to walk with them through it. That's what we're here for. Our experience is their teacher. So if I can handle it and get through it, and again, I'm about to be Dr. Hartsfield, owner of 2 businesses, organizational consultant. If I can do it, they can do it. And I want to help them do it. I want us to have 18-year-old servants of God walking in their purpose and creating careers with a God mindset behind their career to feed into the Lord's kingdom. So that's my piece. I'm trying not to be long-winded.
Well, thank you, Sister Mia. Again, ladies and gentlemen, on this call tonight, this is an amazing team of individuals that the Lord has allowed uh, to come together for one purpose, and that is truly to help all of our children develop that kingdom mindset so that they can walk the path that they were truly divinely created to walk. And as everyone was speaking, there were a couple of questions that popped up in the chat, and I do want to share those. Um, just so I didn't want it going across the screen while people were talking because I didn't want to distract from the speakers. But the question was asked. I'm late joining, so I missed what times the 7-year-olds they go to regular school will be able to participate. Oh, Sister Tiffany, I'm so glad you asked that question. Um, the great thing about Brother Jay's or Mr. Jay's part and Sister Kamika's part is their live session takes place on Sunday, and then they'll have their midweek activities that the children will do throughout the week. For the academic component, which is what I will do with the children your grandson's age, which I will be working specifically with the 4 to 11-year olds. And I did see that I have some 2 and 3-year-olds in there, and that's fine as well. I will work with those parents as well because I'm a pre-K teacher at heart. That is where my passion is. But to answer your question, what I'm currently looking at is having a morning session for homeschoolers and an afternoon enrichment session for children that are currently enrolled in the school system, but your parents are saying, I still want my children to take part in the activities. Now, because we are opening up our services to individuals wherever they're located, we currently have children that are registered from the East Coast, as far east as South Carolina, all the way over to the West Coast, which you're talking about California. So right now, what I'm looking at is that's about a 3 or 4 hour time difference. So right now, I'm currently mulling over 6 p.m. for the evening enrichment for those that are enrolled in the public school setting. Because if we say 6 p.m. for that population, then our family and friends that are on the West Coast in California, that's only 4 o'clock for those children, and they will have just gotten out of school. But it's not written in stone yet. That's one of the things that we're excited about this pilot program because it gives us the ability to do all of that, of adjusting our schedule to really see what's going to be beneficial for the most individuals. The other thing that I will say is our live sessions will be recorded and on our platform. So if you haven't already gone to www.riseupfirst.com, please do so that you can register. That is where our live sessions will be housed. Now we had another question about the class schedule. Sister Ashley asked, will the class schedule be emailed to the parents? Yes, ma'am. Sister Ashley, the class schedule will be emailed by the end of this week. And we will also be sending out text messages. It will also be posted on the www.riseupfirst.com page as well. So there'll be several ways that you'll be able to find out when the classes will be taking place. Another question that we had was regarding working with children with learning, unique learning styles. And for this question, yes, we do have personnel that we are currently collaborating with. We have one specific RBT that's called a registered behavior tech that actually works with children with autism and has about 4 years experience. And as I've mentioned before, I am a certified special education teacher. I am certified EC through 6. But one of the things that Mr. J said that I have to circle back to, one of the biggest things that sets us apart here at Rise Up First Christian Academy is we are not creating a framework for the teacher to do the process without the input of the parent or the guardian. In the public school system, you're very limited as far as being the caregiver and having a say in what happens with your child and how they're learning. That is not what this environment is. This environment is truly about creating a village or a community to support our children. And so we will work together to make sure that your grandson gets the support that he needs. Let's see, another question. Let me go down here. I'm trying to see if I missed anything. Mm, 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 mm. So I do just want to share. Sister Ashley said, praise the Lord. Kingdom building at its finest. Super excited. Yes, ma'am, sis. When I tell you this is truly as we look at life continuing to happen all around us, all of us as a team, all of us as a committee have this passion to understand and know that now is the time for us to ensure that we're preparing our children for the kingdom that's coming, to ensure that they're getting the mindset that they need for the kingdom to come. Thank you, Brother Todd. Yes. Sister Mia, Sister Dr. Mia, he shouted you out. Yes, this is exciting venture that we are on here. Thank you, Brother Todd, Sister Nika. She had to jump off. But again, he said he was excited about it. And like I said, ladies and gentlemen that are on the call tonight, we have industry professionals that are currently working their jobs. So that's even more so why I'm so excited about the team that I have. You heard Sister Mia talk about the fact that she is in the final stages of her doctoral program. This sister has been grinding hard for what, 2 years now? Like four, has it been that long? Oh my gosh. See, I feel like I felt like I've been waiting.
2018.
Oh, Right. Yeah.
March of 2018.
Yeah. So she's been, when I tell you this woman has a passion for our preteens and our teenagers, Brother Dylan, I'm honored to have you on our committee. Because again, this brother is working full time in the school system, but he was willing to say, yes, sis, where can I sign up? I'm here to meet the needs of God's children. And the same thing with Sister Kamika. She is actively working as a licensed clinical social worker, and she is still saying, hey, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here to help. So let me go ahead, and I just wanted to share some things. If you haven't already, please go out to our Facebook page, go out to our YouTube page, and like and share and follow. And while that's going across the bottom of the screen, I'm actually going to stop that one and put the Jot form link down here at the bottom. If you have not registered, normally registration was supposed to end on yesterday, February 28th. But as a team, we did decide that we would allow parents the ability to go ahead and uh, join the enrollment for this free pilot session. But we're closed. We're doing a hard close as of tonight. So while I'm leaving it up here, it just dawned on me. I didn't mention the academic component of Rise of First Christian Academy and what I will be doing. So here's the thing, I will be working with the children 4 to 11 between Monday and Thursday. There will be a morning session and an after school enrichment session. So, what will that look like? The morning session is going to look like us starting off with motivational words, Bible stories, read aloud. It will also look like me beginning to help our children develop the toolbox they need to develop the academic skills for success. Well, what do I mean by that? This first 4 weeks, all we're going to work on is developing a growth mindset over a fixed mindset. Brother Jay, Mr. J is going to set the framework for them spiritually. Sister Kanika is going to come back and set the foundation for them with the mental emotional component. And then once they're being built up spiritually and mentally, now I can come behind them and say, okay, this is what a fixed mindset is versus this is what a growth mindset is. And in case you're wondering, well, what does that mean? A fixed mindset encounters a problem and then just throws up its hand. A fixed mindset says, I can't do that. A fixed mindset says, I'm not smart enough. A fixed mindset says, I'll never get it. A growth mindset, on the other hand, says, I just don't understand it yet. A growth mindset says, okay, I tried this. What else can I try? Oh, you know what? I have an older sibling. I have a grandparent. I have a cousin. I have an auntie. I have an uncle. I have the internet. I have different resources that I can use to develop myself academically, mentally, spiritually. So that first month of them working with me will specifically be about them developing a growth mindset over a fixed mindset. My goal for the pilot session also is to work with the parents in providing you all with resources. Because a lot of the questions that I've been getting is, okay, well, if you guys aren't working with them all day, because they're not, they're going to be working with Sister Kanika and Mr. J for about 90 minutes on Sunday, and the same thing with me during the week. Our goal is not to replicate what they did in the school system during COVID, where they're sitting in front of the computer with a teacher for hours on end. No, we'll have small interactive sessions with you and your child. And then from there, we're going to provide you family activities that you can do as family members, such as scavenger hunts. We also have some really cool, fun, interactive digital resources, websites that parents will have their children be able to access. And so, what I've been doing on the back end is meeting with some producers of the websites that are out there that the children will be using, and they're willing to come in and talk to the parents about how you can use these resources to help your children not only grow but provide that differentiated instruction where it'll give you reports and provide you with the insight on what their growth levels are as well as where their growth where their glows are, which is the things they're already good at, and then their grows, which is the areas that are for improvement. Sorry about that. That was my phone. Wasn't okay. So I was trying to go back into the chat really quickly. I hope that gives you idea of what is going to take place. So we did have another question. Are there fees and tuition? So, Sister Tiffany, for the pilot program, no, there are not any fees or tuition associated with the pilot program. But once we start rolling out the actual program, yes, there will be a minimal fee for access to our academy. But and I have to say this, we are a nonprofit organization that are constantly looking for sponsors and financial resources to help provide us with scholarships to help parents offset the cost. One of the things that I do behind the scenes is apply for grants for the organization. And that's what I've been busy doing these past couple of weeks is applying for more and more grants. So we don't want any parent or grandparent to feel like I can't enroll my child because I don't have the funds for it. Because we will work with you here at Rise Up First. And I want to put that registration form back on the page. Again, tonight is the last night that we will be allowing open enrollment. So if you know of anyone that's interested, please give them the link, ask them to register before the night is open. Remember, if your children are in the public school system, that's fine because they can engage with our after school enrichment program. If your children are homeschooled, that's fine. They can engage in our homeschooling services. If you have those amazing teens and tweens and older, Sister Mia, Sister Dr. Mia is sitting here ready, willing, and able. Yes, ma'am. Mia, go ahead.
No, I was agreeing, but I did want to mention that we are working on getting a learning management system platform where we can house more enrichment resources for them. So if they don't need specific help or they just want to practice some skills, we're going to have resources embedded in that learning management system that will give them that feedback that they need, and like ed puzzles, flocabulary, flip grids, all of those things that they're familiar with that they've seen in the public school setting. We're going to translate those into our setting and give it more critical thinking skills, requiring them to do more thinking as opposed of reciprocating or replicating what's being taught to them. They will actually have a safe space to struggle and get assistance as needed. So I just wanted to mention that because I know a lot, and we also do have tracking for transitions for students who are transitioning in and out of our program. We don't want you to feel like you're in jail once you're with us. You're stuck with us. We have a software where we can produce transcripts for you. We can do progress reports for you if you're doing the full scale enrollment program. We have those things, attendance records. We can provide all of that for you. So we have our student ID cards, you name it, we got it. You just have to let us know and be as detailed as possible. We will be sending out some entrance assessment forms for you guys to fill out so that you can provide us with support. We also have a lot of ways to assess and gain intake from you so that you can customize this experience for you. We're not here to just tell you what we're going to provide for you. You give us insight, we turn that into action. So the more involved you are, the better the experience will be for everyone involved. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me. I am really good with resources. I love providing interactive stuff for the kids to use that embed critical thinking questions because we got to make them think. That's the only thing missing. And I'm out. I'm sorry. I had to say something.
And no, you did not have to apologize. So again, as I stated earlier, we are a nonprofit organization. Our 1023 is currently being reviewed by the IRS because, of course, it's moving slow. But here's the thing. If you like what you heard and you're like, but I don't have any children, but I love what you guys are doing and I want to help move it along, please feel free to Zelle us. We would love any donations because once we start our full-fledged program, as we stated, there are fees associated with it. and we don't want to have to turn any family or child away. So any donations that you can provide will help us further the kingdom by providing a scholarship or resources to an additional child or family out there. So, Mr. J, Sister Kanika, do you all have any final words before we exit the chat, the live?
I just want to say thank you for having me, and I'm looking forward to seeing everybody, seeing all the kids and parents.
You're muted, Sister Kanika.
I'm just excited to get started. That's it. And I'm excited to meet all of our children and parents, and I'm ready. So that's all. And thank y'all for showing up tonight and supporting us. That's it.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And again, as we get ready to go, I want to say please like, follow, share. Reach out to your family members, your cousins, your neighbors, teachers inside the school system. You know you have that child that could benefit from what you heard Mr. J talk about or Mrs. Kanika talk about. Please share this with someone because together we can be the village that we're desiring to see for all of our children. So thank you all for coming out tonight. God bless, grace, and peace. And the next time you see us, we will have testimonies, I'm sure, from the live session. So be on the lookout. We will be having a subsequent open house before we start our official session later this summer. All right, everyone, you all have a wonderful evening. I am going to thank my wonderful participants and good night.